to you about sustainability in the Harbour Bridge. A quick overview of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about INVEST, the vision for sustainability and INVEST on the Harbour Bridge, the project commitments that we had on the job, and the sustainability workshop, and a couple other details if we have time. First polling question. Y'all have your phones out? Everybody? What are one or two words that best describe sustainability to you? So just text them in. I know you guys are good texters. 3, that's a good one. Environmental. Okay. Last. Can you tell there's engineers doing this? Long. This does have a filter on it, so some of you are... Long is growing. Lifelong, lasting long. Okay, those are all great examples, keywords that would describe sustainability. INVEST. INVEST is an FHWA initiative that started in 2009, I believe, and it stands for Infrastructure Voluntary Evaluation Sustainability Tool. It's a mouthful. But basically, it is the lead for infrastructure. So if y'all are familiar with LEED for buildings, this is a similar program. The great thing about this is that it's free. It's a self-evaluation program. As some of you may be aware of with LEED, you had to send your project off to a third party, right? You had to pay X percentage of a project to get your project evaluated with all the documentation. Hard to budget, hard to figure out if you're going to get that accreditation or not. A little scary. FHWA came up with a program called INVEST, the acronym for INVEST, which kind of does the same thing for infrastructure projects. It is voluntary web-based, as the slide says, and there's 3 main components that cover systems planning, which is your upfront component for planning, MPO type of work, the project development, which is considered the PS&E portion of the work, design and construction, and the operations and maintenance component. And you can get a bronze, silver, and gold, and platinum in each one of those categories. So again, this is how it works. You've got 3 modules, and we're speeding this presentation up during the lack of time, so pardon that. We have FHWA has signed up over 15 DOTs with active projects or completing projects using the INVEST self-ranking program, 20 MPOs, 23 federal lands, and 600 transportation. And so you can see the big blue dot in Texas, so that represents the Harbour Bridge project. The vision for this project came from, I can't say it was a voluntary vision, but one of our dear commissioners asked that, how can we capture all that wind down south of Corpus Christi? As you guys may or may not know, Corpus Christi is the windiest city in the nation, windier than Chicago. So, you know, is there anything we can do about it? How about putting a windmill on that big bridge you're building? I'm not a structural engineer, but I know that would be a little difficult. So, luckily, we got cracking with the help of some of our procurement engineers in the office, and we found this INVEST program. There are some similar programs too. I think some of you might be familiar with Envision. It's a similar type of program, but a little bit more rigorous. INVEST, since FHWA is one of our partners, was the program we chose. This is a design-build project. So we launched off to writing procurement documents to include this INVEST program. And launching was a good word, because we really didn't know what we were going to get into. So in July 2014, Harbour Bridge project, we attended an INVEST workshop. Luckily, FHWA, there's a group in Ohio that was fortunate to come down and gave us some lessons learned on using the program. In August, we had a pre-scoring workshop. That was the lessons learned that our folks in Ohio had found out. You have this big, massive program. You've got all these points that you have to meet. How do you figure out whether you're going to get a bronze, whether you're able to get a silver, whether you're able to get a gold? So they suggested that you sat down and pre-score your project. So one of the things I want you all to take away with this afternoon is the fact that this program is pretty easy considering some of the rigors of the LEAD program. I would challenge all of you to say that most of your jobs probably already meet a bronze. From a standpoint that things like using warm asphalt versus hot mix asphalt, that earns you points. Things from using a context-sensitive design, stuff that you normally use in planning, that earns you points. So you collect these points, and the more points you get, the higher the rate payment. So pretty easy, right? We can all do that. August to October, we issued an RFP with technical provisions that included invest in the scoring. In October, we issued a final RFP, and in April 2015, we conditionally awarded the Harbour Ridge to the Flatiron Regattas LLC and gave them preliminary NTP. We were fortunate to get Linda as the sustainability manager, so she's going to do the second half of the presentation and give you a little bit more insight into what we're doing on the Harbour Bridge. Okay, as I said or alluded to a little earlier, the pre-scoring workshop, these are some of the things that we gave points to. So when we sat down and went through it, we were like, hey, I think we can get a platinum. We called FHWA and said, hey, I think we can get a platinum. And they said, you're kidding. Really? You guys think you can do that? Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. You know, we thought they'd be jumping for joy too, but we did. We went for the moon. We requested that the developer give us a platinum project for the middle portion and bronze for the O&M. Flatiron Regattas came to us and said, we're not only going to do a platinum, we're going to do a platinum for O&M, and we're also going to do some extra sustainability for you. So we were quite happy. We also, as part of the RFP, not only required platinum and a bronze, we also required that the lead sustainability manager have been in some sort of sustainability lead role in other projects. We also asked them to describe how the following sustainability categories would be addressed. So we kind of went Invest Plus. So not only did we ask for a platinum, we asked for some other things like energy and energy efficiency, community environmental justice, green building, waste reduction and recycling, green project administration, materials and resources, construction practices, and education and demonstrations of energy efficiency. The demonstration of energy efficiency was to try to capture that windmill, that initial task or that initial challenge of getting the windmill on the project. With that, we scored it out. As you guys know, in design build, we have to have at least a minimum of 70% price by state law. But on this job, we had 80% was this price component, 20% was the technical score, and sustainability was part of that 20%. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Figg, and she's going to tell you some of the exciting things we're doing on Harbour. We're running, aren't we?
Well, this is a very exciting project, and it's just a thrill to have an opportunity to work with Carol and her team on what we hope will become a model for the INVEST program and sustainability that other places can use for major projects. And you'll see some of the renderings here, both in day and night. At the bottom, the rendering in the day is at Whataburger Field, for those of you who know Corpus Christi. And in the nighttime, we'll incorporate an incredible array of LED lighting that will have both dynamic and static design patterns for all kinds of events and seasons, and really as a celebration of the area. And so when it's completed, not only will there be so many unique sustainability and INVEST program items in it, but Texas will then host the largest cable stay bridge in the United States. Between the towers is 1,661 feet, which is 5.5 football fields, and the towers are 532 feet tall. The vertical clearance is 205 feet. They're at the port, and it will be completed in approximately 5 years. So today is really a teaser to share with you some of the key elements that are being incorporated in the Sustainability Invest program, which really kicked off this year. But as the years go through, we'll be able to share with you a lot of really interesting elements of the design as they take shape. So our platinum is the strongest goal you can achieve, and it's been set based on a plan. We have identified the scoring that's needed to achieve that and how it will be done. And that's part of what we call our Invest Scoring Manual. It's part of an overall sustainability plan, which includes more. But there's 3 energy efficiency demonstration projects that are part of it. Of course, all the lighting, whether it's on the bridge or in the landscape or wherever it might be, is all LED. We're going to use solar-powered lighting for markers along the shared use path. This bridge has a shared use path on the water side of the bridge, and it's a long distance across, so we're going to mark the path with these solar markers that will also tell you how far you've gone along the way. And as Carol was talking about the great energy source of wind, there will be a wind sculpture in a community plaza, which will be both for aesthetics as well as celebrating the great energy that we have there. So here's another question for you. How many points do you think are required to achieve a platinum rating in the project development and operations and maintenance modules for the Harbour Bridge project? Those people down at D are really scaring me. Okay, so as you continue to vote, we'll let you know that A is actually the answer. There is a series of points, and they're pretty small in terms of what the bars are for the points, like 1 to 3 points. But to get those 1 to 3 points, you have to really work hard at that topic. So getting beyond 1 is pretty difficult. So we also have sustainability commitments using high-strength, low-permeability concrete, waste reduction and recycling. On the right-hand side, you'll see at the apex of the bridge is a 50-foot Belvedere overlook. Has a curved recycle material type of bench. The backdrop of this is the constellations of the sky, which will be lit with an LED light. You can park your bike up there with bike racks, and there's a telescope. We will be using the old concrete from the bridges that will be demolished, and we are going to crush that as a stone that we'll use in the landscape. And then it will be stained blue to be like the water, and then incorporate a nanotechnology in the stain such that when UV light hits the surface of the concrete, it will actually clean the air. So we'll be training personnel on sustainability. There's going to be sustainability workshops with the community. There's education programs with the students. There is going to be every second Saturday, starting at the beginning of next year, of each month, there's going to be an open community meeting where you can learn about construction from the people who are working on the construction there. So in operations and maintenance, that 25-year commitment includes a maintenance manager, a plan, and an environmental compliance mitigation plan. Also, there's safety management. It will incorporate TxDOT standard pavement management information system and the Pontex bridge management, as well as have a road weather management program, which incorporates environmental sensor stations that will be established. Sustainability is also about really reducing the energy consumption, taking care of the resources in the natural habitats, engaging the community, and be hiring a local workforce. So while we think of sustainability as social, environmental, and economic, the INVEST program gives us an opportunity to really look at these in detail and score them. There's 169 different components that are part of this manual that we're working through. And the stage that we're in now are the two modules that you see here, project development, operations, and maintenance. So for our last question, which of the following criteria can you earn INVEST points under the project development module? Follow the 6-step framework for context-sensitive solutions, reduce energy consumption through the installation of energy-efficient lighting, perform a life cycle analysis of all pavement structure alternatives considered, include ITS applications, or all of the above. So, this is a really smart crowd. It's E, all of the above. So the commitment to sustainability for Platinum includes the sustainability plan and the INVEST scoring manual. And these are part of the documentation that's taking place. So when we look at the sustainability plan, some of the things that are in addition to INVEST are looking at the off-site materials being transported, really with the same systems that we already have, no new methods. A precast yard very close to the site is being used for the precasting of this all-concrete bridge. Of course, the LED lighting, and then having accessibility for all modes of transportation. So our tracking commitments are underway. One of the things that we did to engage everybody on the project is we set up a series of what we call champions. We took all of the topics from INVEST and sustainability and categorized them into 23 different categories. Each one of those categories has a champion, both in construction, from the contractor side, in design, from the designers, and then TxDOT too. So we're working in partnership in championing the results of each of these and have quarterly meetings to talk about those results. We're at about 5% right now, already have been achieved as we are going through the project. And so we're very excited about how it will move forward and all the many things that will be accomplished with this project. We just finished a design charrette with the community, getting them engaged in the design of the bridge. They looked at things like what kind of aesthetic lighting they would like to see in terms of the design, the railing patterns, bridge abutment patterns, creating some sign sculptures so that we look at our signs both in the functional aspect, but also in a wayfinding way, using the opportunity for the columns as a way to create a sculpture that gives people information about where they're going in an artful manner. And then community plazas. You will find in the community plaza a very large bike rack that's going to be life-size, that will spell out Corpus Christi in a curve. And the individual tubes that spell out the letters are the places where you can put your bike wheels. It may become the place for a lot of selfies for people who visit Corpus Christi as well. But we're getting started, and we're excited to share what we hope will become a model for INVEST. And the program that Federal Highway Administration has set up is easily seen on their website. They have a lot of information there. It's a great wealth of resource of how this whole program is developed, and it will make a difference for transportation projects around the country.